Imagine waking up one morning and your entire city is gone. Not destroyed, not abandoned, just gone. No survivors. No clear explanation. Sometimes, not even ruins. Throughout history, entire civilizations, with thousands of people, grand temples, and thriving trade, simply vanished. And in many cases, we still don't know why. Today, we're uncovering 5 cities that disappeared without a trace, and asking the question that has haunted historians for centuries. What really happened? Stay until the end, because the last one might be closer to home than you think. City 1. Pompeii's Shadow. Akrotiri, Greece, 0:30 to 2:30. Soft Mediterranean music, footage of the Aegean Sea, bright blue water, white cliffs. Most people have heard of Pompeii, but few know about a city that disappeared 3,000 years earlier. In an event so catastrophic, it may have inspired the legend of Atlantis itself. Welcome to Akrotiri, a Bronze Age city buried on the Greek island of Santorini. Around 1600 BCE, Akrotiri was one of the most advanced cities in the ancient world. Home to an estimated 30,000 people, it sat at the crossroads of Mediterranean trade routes. Its citizens enjoyed multi-story buildings with indoor plumbing, a luxury most of Europe wouldn't see again for 2,000 years. They painted vivid frescoes on their walls, blue monkeys, boxing children, ships sailing in procession. These were not primitive people. They were sophisticated, cultured, thriving. And then, the earth opened up. The volcano beneath Santorini, known today as the Thuran eruption, exploded with the force of hundreds of nuclear bombs. It is considered one of the largest volcanic events in human history. The blast was heard as far away as Scandinavia. Tsunamis crashed across the mountain. The sky went dark. But here's the story. When archaeologists excavated Akrotiri in the 1960s, they found almost no human remains, no bones, no skeletons. The city was perfectly preserved, food still in pots, furniture still in place. But the people were gone. It appears the residents received a warning. Small earthquakes in the days or weeks before gave them just enough time to flee. They packed their valuables, they walked out, and they never came back. Beat. Let the silence land. Where did they go? No one knows. The survivors of Akrotiri never wrote down what happened. Their city was buried under 60 meters of ash, and their story was forgotten for 3,600 years. Some historians believe they are the origin of the Atlantis legend, a great civilization wiped from the map in a single catastrophic day. City 2. The jungle swallowed it. Angkor, Cambodia, 2:30 to 4:30. Cinematic sweep over jungle canopy. Stone temple faces emerge from vines and fog. Deep in the jungles of northwest Cambodia, there are walls that stretch for miles, moats wide enough to sail boats above us, temples so large we can see them skirts. This was at its peak, possibly the largest pre-industrial city on Earth. At its height in the 12th century,
Angkor housed an estimated 750,000 to 1 million people, more than 1 million males and women. The Khmer Empire built it through vast stretches of Southeast Asia. Its crown jewel, Angkor Wat,
remains the largest religious monument ever constructed. Angkor wasn't just powerful, it was engineered. The city ran on an extraordinary hydraulic system, an intricate network of canals, reservoirs, and moats that allowed it to grow rice 3 times a year, feeding a massive population in the middle of a tropical jungle. So how do you lose a city this big? Tone shifts, darker music. The answer is slowly, then all at once. For decades, historians blamed the fall of Angkor on a Siamese invasion in 1431. And while that raid did happen, new research tells a more complex story. Climate change, specifically, a series of devastating droughts followed by catastrophic monsoon floods in the 14th and 15th centuries, slowly destroyed the hydraulic infrastructure that Angkor depended on. The reservoirs silted up, the canals failed, the rice harvests collapsed. As famine spread, the ruling elite moved their court southward to the coast, seeking trade with China and new sources of wealth. The population scattered. The jungle, patient, relentless, hungry, moved in. Within a century, Angkor was swallowed whole. When a Portuguese monk stumbled upon the ruins in 1586, local people told him the city was built by gods or giants. The idea that human hands had built it seemed impossible. It wasn't impossible. It was just forgotten. Even today, Angkor still holds secrets. Ground-penetrating radar surveys in recent years have revealed entire hidden cities beneath the jungle floor. Suburbs, roads, and neighborhoods that we haven't even begun to excavate. Angkor didn't vanish. It's still there. It's just waiting to be rediscovered. Bati 3, the city with no rulers. Mohenjo-Daro, Pakistan, 4:30 to 6:15. Deep, resonant music. Images of baked brick streets and ancient wells. Every great civilization has kings, pharaohs, emperors, warlords. But what if a city of 40,000 people thrived for 700 years, with no evidence of a ruler at all? That city was Mohenjo-Daro. Built around 2500 BCE along the Indus River in what is now Pakistan, Mohenjo-Daro was one of the first great urban experiments in human history. It was part of the Indus Valley Civilization, a culture so advanced that its sewer systems, grid-planned streets, and standardized building bricks wouldn't be matched by European cities for another 2,000 years. Yet unlike Egypt or Mesopotamia, archaeologists have found no royal tombs, no palaces, no monumental statues of rulers, no weapons of war in large quantities, no evidence of a military class. How did a city this large, this organized, function without a visible hierarchy? We genuinely don't know. The Indus script, the writing system used by these people, has never been deciphered. It remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in linguistics. Suspenseful pause. And then, around 1900 BCE, the city was abandoned. Some skeletons found in the upper layers of the city show signs of violent death, leading early archaeologists to theorize an invasion or massacre. But those bodies are too few in number to explain a full urban collapse. More recent theories point to climate change once again. The drying of the Gagar Hakra river system that fed the entire civilization. As water became scarce, people dispersed, migrating eastward toward the Ganges basin. But no one left a record. No monument was raised to commemorate what was lost. The civilization simply dissolved. Mohenjo-Daro, which translates to Mound of the Dead in Sindhi, sat buried and silent for nearly 4,000 years until British archaeologists rediscovered it in 1922. A city that governed itself without kings, vanished without a fight. Maybe that's the most mysterious thing of all. City 4. Wiped from the map. Carthage, North Africa, 615 to 8. Dramatic orchestral swell. Images of the North African coast. Turquoise Mediterranean water. Some cities don't disappear by accident. Some cities are erased, deliberately, systematically, and with terrifying efficiency. Carthage was one of the greatest cities the ancient world had ever produced. Founded by Phoenician settlers around 814 BCE on the coast of modern-day Tunisia, Carthage grew into the dominant commercial power of the Western Mediterranean. At its peak, it was home to over 700,000 people. A cosmopolitan metropolis of merchants, generals, engineers, and sailors. The Carthaginians were so powerful, so wealthy, so threatening, that Rome fought 3 massive wars against them over more than a century. These were the Punic Wars, and they produced some of history's most legendary military moments, including Hannibal Barca's famous march across the Alps with war elephants. Rome won the first 2 wars, but Carthage kept surviving. Rome's Senate couldn't sleep. The Roman senator Cato the Elder reportedly ended every speech on any topic with the same line: Carthago delenda est. Carthage must be destroyed. Pause for effect. In 146 BCE, they made good on the threat. Roman legions besieged Carthage for 3 years. When the walls finally fell, the battle didn't end. It moved indoors, street by street, house by house, floor by floor. The fighting lasted 6 brutal days. It is estimated that 450,000 people killed or sold into slavery. The city's buildings were demolished. Its harbor was smashed. Its fields were burned. The ancient story that Rome salted the earth to prevent anything from growing is like a myth, but it captures the spirit of what Rome intended: permanent liberation. For centuries, Carthage vanished from the map. Its language died. Its records were destroyed. Today, ruins of the later Roman city built on the sunny side survive near the modern suburbs of Tunis. The original Carthage, the Phoenician city of 700,000 souls, reduced to dust. By choice, by policy, by fear. Carthage doesn't haunt us because it disappeared mysteriously. It haunts us because we know exactly what happened. And it happened on purpose. City 5. The mystery that remains. Cahokia, United States, 8 to 9:30. Quiet, eerie music. Dawn light over the Mississippi River floodplains. Vast earthen mounds emerging from flat grassland. This last city is different. because it didn't vanish in a distant land thousands of years ago. It vanished in America. Just across the Mississippi River from modern-day St. Louis, Missouri, there once stood a city called Cahokia. At its peak around 1100 CE, Cahokia was home to an estimated 20,000 people, making it larger than London at the same time. It was the most sophisticated pre-Columbian city north of Mexico, complete with plazas, wooden palisade walls, astronomical alignments, and massive earthen pyramids, including one the size of the Great Pyramid of Giza at its base. These were not nomadic hunters. These were urban planners, astronomers, farmers, and traders whose networks stretched from the Gulf of Mexico to the Great Lakes. And then, by 1350 CE, the city was completely empty. No mass graves, no signs of conquest, no European contact. Europeans wouldn't arrive for another 150 years. So why did 20,000 people just leave? Long beat. Current theories include catastrophic floods from the Mississippi River, a prolonged drought, agricultural soil depletion, political collapse, or disease. Some researchers believe the residents themselves contributed to their own downfall through deforestation, stripping the land to build their mounds and fuel their fires until the ecosystem around them collapsed. There's also a darker theory. Archaeological evidence suggests ritual violence at Cahokia, mass burial sites with hundreds of young women and men, possibly sacrificed. Perhaps the city's rigid social hierarchy eventually provoked rebellion from within. We simply don't know. What makes Cahokia so haunting is how close it is and how forgotten it became. When European settlers arrived in the 1800s, they assumed the mounds were natural hills. The idea that a native civilization could have built a city rivaling medieval Europe seemed unthinkable to them. But it happened. Right here. On American soil. Cahokia existed. It thrived. It vanished. And unlike the others, it left us no writing, no records, no legends to follow. Just mounds in a field, and silence. Closing, 9:30 to 10. Music slowly builds. Montage of all 5 cities. Ruins at sunset. Jungle canopy. Ocean waves. 5 cities. 5 different worlds. 5 different fates. Some were consumed by nature, some by war, some by time, some by choices their own people made. But in every case, the same truth emerges. No city is permanent. No civilization is guaranteed. The things we build, our streets, our systems, our cultures, can be undone faster than we imagine. And so I leave you with one question. Thousands of years from now, what will archaeologists say about us? Will they find our cities still standing? Or will they dig through the rubble and ask, what happened here? Where did they all go? If this video made you think, leave a comment below. Which city surprised you the most? And if you want more stories like this, stories that history almost forgot, subscribe, because we're just getting started.